It's a scary time to raise a kid. That's the only thing I'm worried about. It's a really scary time. You know? I think they're getting ready to like microchip all of us.
How do I define community? I think community is a collection of families put in the same environment to make one whole. You know, whether that's families, whether that's organizations, just all melting together to create one big family. That's what I believe a community is. Heal the Hood's name is now changing to the Banner Foundation. But Heal the Hood will continue to be the name of what I do specifically for my community in Jackson. But my non-for-profit now is moving to another level. And I now personally believe that in a lot of cases we embrace the word hood, but that's not what I believe our community was designed to be in. You know, I personally believe that, you know, we are trying to build a kingdom, you know, and I think we have to start aspiring, you know, and going in that direction. So I decided to change the name. But Heal the Hood has always been an organization that's designed to take care of people who don't. I never forget, and I'm not going to name the organization because I'm trying to move to a level where, you know, I don't have to criticize people. You know, we just do for our own people. But there's this big nationwide organization during Katrina. We had filled our tour bus up, you know, with water and, you know, just essential goods that people needed, and we were bringing it to the Coliseum to distribute amongst our people. And some kids ran up and they was like, David Banner, you know, kids are always gonna be honest. David Banner, they shipping the stuff that you brought here for us, they shipping it to the white people side of town. And they were actually really doing that. They were taking the stuff off of our bus, you know, putting it on a truck and taking it to the other side of town. And from that day, I realized that, you know, it is up to us to do for our people. And something that I actually want to clear up in this interview is it's amazing how America, when you're pro-black, they try to turn it into anti-something else. You know, I'm not anti-anything. I don't hate nobody. I just want to do for my people, you know. Before anything, you know, at our base we're animals, and as animals, God has programmed us to take care of our own first. And I think when you step outside of that programming is when it goes wrong. And I think that's what has happened to black people as a whole in America, is we stepped out of our God-given place to take care of our people. And that's what Heal the Hood is designed to do. How do I think that we can heal our hoods? Honestly, I think that it starts with therapy. You know, I never really hear that with maybe with the exception of, well, I can't say what people don't say, but I don't hear it much in my circles. You know, Dr. Joyce DeGruy talks about it. Dr. Joy DeGruy talks about it a lot. You know, the psychological aspects of healing our people, because if our mind isn't right, it doesn't matter what environment you put us in. We're going to take, you know, those same tendencies with us. You know, even if you look at what people design as ghettos, in a lot of cases when they begin, they're brand new establishments. You know what I'm saying? And we have a tendency, because we don't believe in ourselves and we don't believe in black people, or we don't love black people, that we have a tendency of taking the little that we do have and destroying it because we don't love self. And you know, even if you look at the buying power of black people in America, we spend more money than anybody else, but we don't spend it on ourselves. So for me, I think the first step of really healing the hood, not just putting Band-Aids on it. Yeah, we can bring Christmas toys and, you know, give away clothes and all that stuff. I think that stuff is for the ego. If you truly want to help black people heal, we first of all have to deal with the psychological ramifications of what has happened to us historically. I think then, after that, you must re-educate your people. That's something that Dr. Anthony Broder talks about a lot. It's just you have to kill all lies and then have a rebirth mentally. I think before we do any of those other things, I think it doesn't matter if we don't handle those first two steps, and then maybe we'll come back and have another interview and talk about what needs to be done from that point. I think that there are people like Dr. Joy DeGruy, like Anthony Broder, who can answer those types of questions. But what I will say is that therapy is something that, you know, I've been involved in personally, period. Not even from a black standpoint, but from a human standpoint. And I think, you know, with anything, you got to first get on the path and search for it. You know, if I don't have the answer for that, that's a big question. I think if I knew, we would already be on the path or going in the direction to make it happen. But what I will say is that, you know, is we have to start having the dialogue, you know, either way it go about it. And I think, you know, you've done that by even posing the question. The age gap is something that I never understood. I mean, I think one of the problems, and this is just my personal opinion, and I may be wrong, I blame it all on the parents. I do. Because, first of all, you know, when we were growing up, we didn't have much choice. You know, number one, I watch, you know, kids be so opinionated. I understand, you know, allowing your children to have the space to be free thinkers. But, you know, to be free thinkers without having a knowledge base is ludicrous to me. Like, you can free think all day, but if you don't have a foundation, you're just everywhere. And I think what has happened is that black parents have chased the American dream so hard that they up and ran off and left their children. They left their children to be educated by video games, by rap music, by television, by the police force who don't give a damn and beating the hell and killing their kids and shooting them, who don't give a damn about black kids in the first place. And then they up and complain about everybody in the world but themselves. We haven't properly raised our children. And I always say we, because I'll never separate myself from black people. Even if I totally disagree with everything that they do, I'll never say they. It's us. Because again, the first question that you ask me is to define community. And that's a bunch of families becoming one family. And that means that we all have to raise each other to a certain degree. And we haven't done that. And to me, we have raised a generation of zombies to a certain degree. Kids just wandering around, you know, with no direction, with no love, with no sense of belonging. Isn't that what a zombie does? Just run around and they bump into something, they kill it. You know, and I think that's totally our fault. And you know, another thing is I think that, and people always, you know, debate on whether the Willie Lynch letter was true or not. To me, that's the wrong debate that people should have. The debate should be is whether it's true or not. Whether the effects of what they say in that letter is true or not. I don't give a damn if it's fake or not. That is what America has done to our people. You can look at the results of it, and you cannot deny or debate that fact. So for me, you know, I watch so many parents, they're so judgmental of their children when their parents did the same thing to them. You know, Curtis Mayfield, I mean, and this is not literal, but I'm giving you an example. Curtis Mayfield was criticized by doo-wop people, and Curtis Mayfield criticized Prince, and Prince criticized Public Enemy. Public Enemy, you know, criticized Kwame. Kwame criticized Biggie. Biggie criticized, you know, Lil Jon. You know, all the way down into now. Like, it is always in the generation before, or the generation that preceded the next generation, always believed that they was better than the generation that came after them. So I just think that that's something that has to stop. It's just different, and it's different times, and we have to embrace the fact that regardless of whether we want to admit it or not, it's all a part of black culture, the good and bad. On this quote on Twitter, I said, being pro-black doesn't make you anti-anything, but maybe your guilt does. You know, and me saying that, a lot of people try to turn being pro-black into something bad because they feel like black people should do something. Like, they know our history better than we do. So they thinking in the back of their head, well, if somebody did that to my people, I would be angry and I would hate the people who were aggressive towards me. But I don't think that that's the case, even with black people who don't have knowledge of self. Like, you know, for the most part, black folks is trying to get by. And, you know, I just want to make sure that our people are taken care of, because America has historically not taken care of, or has really done nothing for black people but work